Speaker.
I call the member for Melbourne Ports.
Thank you very much, Acting Speaker. An international consensus of Western, Chinese and Asian media would agree with the Business Week this week, who says that the Malaysian government probably has done more over the past week to undermine the international image of Malaysia than anyone else in the country's nearly 60 years as a nation. 6 Australians, Acting Speaker, are on that lost plane, and naturally I made a comment about the handling of this by the Malaysian government on my Twitter page. In response, a minority, and I'd make it very clear that it was only a small minority of Malaysian citizens, posted highly sexualised comments of a homophobic nature on my page. They were not just abusing me, but they were abusing the Malaysian leader of the opposition, Anwar Ibrahim. They did not take up the issue of the dysfunctionality of the Malaysian government and its handling of the aeroplane MH370 tragedy, raised in such newspapers as the Australian or the New York Times and mentioned on my Twitter account. It's an indictment, Acting Speaker, of the ruling party and the state-controlled media in Malaysia that such sexist abuse is considered a political norm. UMNO supporters and haters of Anwar Ibrahim, the leader of the Malaysian opposition, don't realise how weird such detailed discussions of anal sex are on political sites discussing the disappearance of Malaysian aeroplanes. Wouldn't it be better if Malaysian government supporters directed their anger at the incompetence of their authorities, who sent non-Chinese speakers to China to explain to grieving relatives about the disappearance of the plane, or when Chinese families turned up to a press conference in Malaysia, had their security officials beat them up? Rather than give intricate details of what the Malaysian government supporters quaintly call sodomy, wouldn't it be better for them to explain how one of their national airliners with 239 passengers aboard, including 6 Australians, was missed when it flew back over Malaysia by Malaysia's National Air Force radar? Speaker, the Malaysian leader's poor response to the disappearance of Flight 370 isn't surprising. The country has been ruled by the same coalition since independence. Its leaders normally shun independent journalists. The state-controlled domestic media rarely push ministers to answer tough questions. I've got some suggestions that were originally made in Business Week that I certainly agree with. The Malaysian government needs to speak with a single voice, start designating one senior minister. The minister should hold daily question and answer sessions with reporters, not just with the compliant local media. 2, cooperate with Western governments such as Australia and the United States. Kuala Lumpur should allow foreign aviation and police agencies to cooperate with it in investigating the backgrounds of the disappearance of the plane. Organisations such as the US National Transport Safety Board and the FBI would be a good place to start. Of course, this is because, Business Week quotes, Malaysia's own police have a weak record for investigative work, partly because the police, like virtually every other part of the Malaysian authorities, are highly politicised and stuffed with patronage jobs and perceived as highly corrupt. 3, Malaysian officials apparently knew about the flight's westward trajectory after the transponder was turned off, but they should disclose everything that they know now, because there are naturally questions about whether Malaysia is concealing more details. They should stop trying to link above all, Speaker, they should stop trying to link the plane's disappearance to domestic political opponents. To quote Business Week, government leaders have long been obsessed with Anwar, the leader of the opposition who's just been interviewed by Christian Amanpour on CNN. As his opposition alliance has got closer and closer to winning a national election and ending the ruling Barisan Nasional coalition reign, Malaysian officials have been acting as if the pilot's support for Anwar's opposition party was something shocking or new. Madam Speaker, virtually 52% of Malaysians support Anwar Ibrahim. If this was a reason for people crashing aeroplanes into the sea, then half of Malaysia would be guilty. What an absurd and ridiculous suggestion. 6 Australians have been lost, apparently, with the crew of this plane. I call on the Malaysian authorities to address the issue, stop abusing people with homophobic remarks and stop encouraging their supporters in UMNO to do the same. I'm quite used to these anti-gay bashing statements, but they've been made against me personally. They shouldn't be made against me or Anwar Ibrahim.